Good morning. This is my new ball spin program here. And you have 12 presets of backspin that you can put on the WGT ball. So the first thing you want to do is you like to get this red dot position. Now this golf ball here on the program is nothing more than a display, so it has no effect on this WGT ball at all. It's just for you to look at. So these are the red dot position settings. You can set the size of the dot, and then the offset where it appears on this image, and then the golf ball height and width. Now, if you like to see it be close to mimicking the spin on this ball, then you can adjust the size of it. But we'll get into that. The spin records, these are the 12 preset buttons you see here. And your caption, of course, for the buttons. And then the number of pixels that will execute to go down on the WGT ball, and also this image ball. And then your spin name for your reference, right? So the WGT window. This is the title of the WGT window. You see up here WGT golf. If they were to change that to a different title, then you would have to change it here so that the program can find this window. All right. These are the WGT ball offset positions. So I've got some screens preloaded here for you. I mean, it'll change for you. So if you know your resolution on your WGT that you're using, you would want to set this first, right? I'm using 1024 by 768, right? Because you need to have it center on this golf ball. This option will either automatically apply that spin, or if you have it off, it will not apply the spin, right? So first thing, you should check the no spin, right, and turn it back on so you can see that what it does with the WGT ball. So you click no spin, and you kind of want that the no spin to be into the center, and your offset should be pretty close from these presets, right? So no spin, and you see how it grabbed the center of that green dot. So you can adjust that if you need to with this WGT ball left, how far left to go of the screen percentage, and then how far down of the pixels of that percentage to get to the center of this green dot, or close to it, right? So that's how that works. Now, the spin records, the number of pixels down is going to be related to your image resolution on your WGT screen. Like I have them set up for the 1020, the 1024 by 768, right? So it's going to work fine in that resolution as far as applying the backspin, right? But when you change resolution, and then the number of pixels down aren't going to match the backspin. So you would have to adjust that yourself. But we'll go through one here. Let's say 51% backspin, right? So now let's put 51% backspin when we hit the ball. 51%, right? And I'm
that's in the garden spot.
I'm just using a starter ball for demonstration. And what you should do if you have a different screen resolution then besides the 1024, you might want to just grab a starter ball and look at this, you know, and get it zoned in, right? And so let's say we want to put 43% backspin on the ball, right? And there's 43%, and that's, you're telling it how many pixels to go down on that golf ball, right? Okay.
That's
a
huge
29
drive.
pixels. Well, we didn't until we moved it down and just played with it, right? So let's do this. I'll change the resolution. And let me get up to a different one here. All right. So let's change it to 1366 by 768, right? And so I'll come into here. I'll close that out because it moves right to the left. Move it over here. I'll change mine to 1366 by 768. Okay. So now you see that it's 93 and 75. Right? So, well, that's going to run out of, I'm going to have to extend my browser there. Hang on there. Let me get this up there. Oh, I don't mind. I got to go back and bring it up here. All right. Okay, well, I'm just going to have to use it like that. Come on. All right. Anyway, but you get the gist of it. Recording here, I had to change that window, but so, you know, grab a starter ball, go into practice mode. Right. The starter ball. Okay. No thanks. All right. So now I do have the 1366 selected, right? So now when I click no spin, you see it found it, right? If I didn't change it, right, and I went back to my 1024 and hit no spin, you see the mouse went far left. It won't find the ball. Right? But I have these other ones for you predetermined. Right? Okay. So you see now that's setting good. But what's going to happen is now that the screen is a little different, you know, it's not going to put the right spin on. So let's say 51 now, right? It's not going to hit 51. Wait a minute. What resolution did I have? Oh, I got 768. So never mind. That's going to work. All right, that will work. Sorry, I thought I had a different resolution. So the 768 was the same as my 1224. So these values will these values, spin values, and the record will work. Let's get one that not the same. Okay. Well, let's change it to one that's not 768, and then I'll show you what I mean.
That's a huge drive.
Yeah. All right, let's end that round. End the game. I forgot about that. Okay. No, I don't want the 768. All right, 1920 by 1080. Right? There we go. So now the 1080 and the 1200, you'll have to adjust the number of pixels down in the database there. Keep the changes. Yeah. All right. So let me get my clock over there. All right, let's go back in here and do it again here. Well, back 9. Practice. Okay. So we got that. So we hit the no spin. It'll come and grab that ball, right? So, but now when we go to hit 51% of backspin, it's not going to be 51% of backspin because of the resolution, right? So it's actually 38, right? So now you got a couple of choices here if you're using this bigger screen, right? You come into your spin records, you see your 51 spin right here, right? Oop, no, that's 75, 51 right here. All right. So that's 34 pixels down. Well, that is not going to, that's not enough pixels, right? So you can experiment with that and just change it, right? So let's just change it to, say, 40, but I'll keep it at, come on. All right. I'll just put a marker there, 34, because that's my screen. All right. So now we're going to change that. Let's just change it to 40, all right? And then we'll save it. All right. Okay, so now let's see what happens when we hit 51% of backspin. Because it brought the ball down a little lower. We're at 45 now, right? So you go back to spin records, 51. Let's just change it to, bring it back down to, say, 47, right? And save it. All right. Now, try 51 again now. That's 52. All right. So, pretty close. 52. Let's hit it at 46 and save it. All right, 51. There's 51. So if you're not using the 768 screen, you're going to go in here and have to adjust the number of pixels down that you want. Right? We'll put another 51 in there. Backspin. All right. So these numbers will be off for the 768 screen. But this is how you can put your own into these spin records. I mean, let's just say, you know, you wanted to see you can play around with the numbers and just say, okay, 83 was 56, right? So let's say you change that. I'm going to make another marker here so I don't forget that that's my pixels. Okay, so 83 was 56. Let's say you came in and you changed it and you say, well, I want to hit 72 pixels. What's 72 pixels? How much backspin is 72 pixels going to put, on my ball here? Let me change that. I said 83. Okay, I don't want to get confused here. 83. So we don't know what amount of backspin that is, right? All right, it's 81, right? For this screen resolution, right? So you can come back in here and you can say, okay, well, this is 81, so I can change this to minus 81, right? And save it. All right. So next time I hit 83, or use 83, it's going to say it's 81, right? And then thereafter, it's going to be 81% of backspin all the time. 81. All right, back in. 81% backspin. The nice thing about using a starter ball too, of course, if you happen to lose it or something, it's no big deal. No matter where it goes, you're just worried about the backspin. So you see 81, 81. All right. So that's how the preset spin records work. I'm going to change this back to my. I added 83, and my pixels were 56 on my screen. All right. Oh, and my 51, I'm going to change that back to 34. All right. That way I know. Now the thing is, if you use top spin, the top spin number, well, once you have it set, the top spin number will always be the negative number of the pixels that, of the backspin that you chose, got set up. So if you had negative 51 backspin, 34 pixels, well, 51 topspin is negative 34. So if you reverse the sign, you're going to put, 51% of topspin on the ball if you change that to a negative 34, right? But you can come in here and set up your own 12 preset buttons that you want, And some backspins you're just not going to get, because it's pixel by pixel. So you're not going to get a 50% backspin. You get a 51, but that's as close as you're going to get. So, and the reason why I like to put my exact backspin on the ball each and every time, it takes one of the variables out of WGT. You still got the VEM and everything else, but at least you know that, hey, I'm going to hit this shot 75% backspin. I know it's got 75% backspin. And then, so that's one variable of the equation that did I put 75%? No, I put 77. Did I put, I think 75 is right there, but it really wasn't. It was 77 or it was 68. Using this, you can put the exact amount of backspin you want on each shot over and over again. So let me change it back to my screen resolution. So if you're using any of the 768s, you should be all right with the spin records. once you get past 768, you're going to have to adjust your own spin records by the pixels up and down. So I'll keep my screen. All right. So, and again, this is by, go back in here. Just practice. This is by screen percentages. So let me go back to WGT window, set mine back to my resolution. Right. Okay. So this is my screen percentages. So it doesn't matter, you know, if your screen was over here and you wanted to apply 51%. Oh, it didn't update yet till I hit it, right? Okay. I should be the 51. That's 83. Okay. 83. I think I got my pixel back the way it was. 83. Right? Okay. And then I went and used the 51. Right. 51. The only reason you would want to adjust this golf ball size is, like I say, it doesn't make a difference if you resize the golf ball size or not. It's only there for a visual representation. So like if I went and say, well, here's 51 back, right? The reason why I wanted my golf ball kind of the same size is that, you know, if I put that in the center of my 51 like that, you know, it shows me on the golf ball, you know, pretty close to 51. And why would that come in handy? Well, I'll show you that right now. Let's say for some reason you didn't want, I don't know why, but let's say you didn't want the program to apply it for you, right? You just want to see it, right? So now there's 51% showing me. So I can do it manually and say, okay, well, let's see, you know, what the center of the ball is. You know, it's about like there, right? Right about like that. So that's about 51% by this graphic image here, right? Close to it. But it's only 46%. So visually, I didn't put 51%. By looking
That's a huge drive.
That's why I would rather just have the program apply the spin for me, and that way I know that it's 51% backspin. You know, this could come in handy if you're mapping your balls with different spins, right? So, you know, you're always going to hit the same map shot over and over again with the same spin.
That's a huge drive.
But that's how it works. So, again, the red dot position. Yeah, I know I'm going to spin. Again, that's just a red dot here, where you can put it at on the golf ball. You can move it, you know. You can increase the size of the red dot. You can move it, you know, left and down, you know, to cover the green dot here. And then the golf ball height, I mean, you could increase the size of that, you know. I got 158, but what if I wanted 200, you know, by 200, right? And now, when I, you know, you could increase it that way too, but I'm going to put mine back, 158. 158, all right. Okay. All right. But anyway, that's how the the ball spin program works. So hopefully you'll enjoy it if you use it. So, all right, have a good day.